Step over here and look at this Edmontosaur skeleton. This is one that you really have to see. It's not like the other ones, not at all, because this is 100% all real bone, no casts. It took a long time to excavate enough specimen to put together a full composite skeleton. And the uniqueness of this is, and it's very rare to see, is 100% real skeleton on display. My name's Karl Mayry. I am an exhibit design builder. This latest exhibit that you're seeing, that you're visiting me now in, is called Doom of the Dinosaurs, Are We Next? And it explores the Cretaceous extinction, which seems to be sort of a popular notion, or it's a pop culture thing with the dinosaurs, because the biggest and the coolest and the last of the dinosaurs, you know, were alive during the Cretaceous, and then this large asteroid, you know, hits the Yucatan area and supposedly wipes out the entire planet, you know, everything, just about everything living. And then of course we get the rise of the mammals. So that's a very, very, you know, hot topic, if you will, in the evolutionary process on planet Earth, and regarding extinctions. And extinction tends to be a big thing now because of, you know, the trends in global warming and climate change. So that being the case, we sort of connected the two because they're actually connected. And we ask the question, and rightly so, are we in the next big extinction? Are humans ushering in the next extinction? There have been pulses of extinction on planet Earth for millions and millions of years. In fact, the Cretaceous extinction, the end of the dinosaurs, was not the largest extinction that this planet has experienced. And most people don't know that there have been 5 major pulses or 5 major extinctions. As you walk down the hall, you come into this exhibit, you first experience it. When you turn left, you experience really the first 4 major extinctions, and then of course the Cretaceous, and then going over to the Holocene or the Anthropocene, which is what scientists now call our time period. We live in the Holocene, and the Anthropocene is sort of based on the root word of, you know, anthropology, or, you know, which is humans, human being, human interaction. Really what we did was we gave you some case studies. We gave the general public case studies, like the Industrial Revolution, just a brief case study of what it was, what occurred, and even parts per million in terms of carbon particulate matter in the atmosphere currently, which is the highest it's ever been, as far as we know in recorded history. And then how do we know that? How do we know that's the largest it's been since recorded history? And through ice core sampling, we know that. Understand that extinctions have occurred on this planet, and they've occurred before humans were here. That in fact, again, it's a pulse of nature. In most of the extinctions, as far as geologic evidence goes, it's related to volcanism and ocean acidification related to volcanism, or the fact that species grew so well and they hit their zenith, and then as soon as they hit this top end of their numbers and their success as a species, all of a sudden they bottom out. So it's really a fascinating exhibit in terms of multidisciplinary zoology through paleontology, biology, geology. All of the ologies are covered essentially in some way or another. It's all of these disciplines coming together to sort of create this story that we weren't around to witness. Carbon particulate matter in the atmosphere is nothing to laugh at. It does have, you know, some serious side effects to it, and not to get political. You know, it just is what it is. We're over 400 parts per million. We hit that in 2016, and it's climbing. And is it because you drove here and your car contributed? Your car contributes carbon, yes it does, but not like some eruptions that occurred in Indonesia recently. That's where the force of it comes from, and that's where, you know, things start to die off, and climate starts to change. The Industrial Revolution was one of the greatest things. It propelled us to technology and greatness and the country we are today. But you know, I don't think most people understand or know that places like China and India and some of the other regions are just now going through their industrial revolutions. And the American and British Industrial Revolution were full of, you know, smog and and chemical byproducts dumped into rivers and lakes and streams, and it was very polluting. It was very deleterious to the planet, until we understood how poisonous these things were. We didn't know. You just dump your excess oil or your mercury into a river, just make it disappear. Nature will take care of it. That was the thought. That was the prevailing thought. They didn't know. They didn't have data. They didn't have scientists going, they didn't have the EPA taking measurements saying this is killing your fish. That didn't occur. They just get rid of it, it'll go away, it'll take care of itself. Well, it really didn't. A successful exhibit, in my opinion, will make you want to go home and learn more about it. There have been times where fossils are found in Michigan here and we want to build an exhibit around it. So it needs a base, it needs lighting, it needs curatorial research and presentation to the general public, it needs graphic formatting. We need to choose colors, we need to choose what kind of base we're going to put it on. We need to make sure whatever materials that we're using aren't going to be deleterious to the fossil, like off-gassing of plastics or something that would despoil the material that the fossil's on, the matrix that the fossil's on, for example. You know what the number one thing is? The number one consideration in doing an exhibit is just tell a good story. Humans want to learn. They seek that. They want that. But they also have to be in a place where they can do that. A place both in their personal life, and we provide a place here for them for that too. This giant elephant-like skull that came out of the ground 10 miles from their house inspires them to want to learn more. People have a hunger to know where they're from, their sense of belonging. And your sense of history is what prevents you from going down the wrong path again. And so that's the big thing. To me, that's the big social factor of history or exhibitry, or educating the public through exhibitry. It's important to understand your history, to know where you've come from. You should know. And if you don't know, investigate it, find out. You draw something out of your head and it becomes material, it becomes actual, it becomes real, and people interact with it. To me, it's got to be like somebody who writes the great novel that people want to read. It's a slam dunk. It's fulfilling. It's like I can die happy. I don't know that a lot of people understand that, but for me, that's where it's at.